2, 3, 4.
Hi, welcome to the Truly Myrtle podcast. I'm Libby and I'm pleased to have you with me. This is episode 5. It's May, so we've done 4 already. Oh, the year is flying by, isn't it? I am Truly Myrtle almost everywhere on social media. You can find me on Twitter, Pinterest, Facebook as Truly Myrtle, and on Instagram, which is my favourite, I'm Truly Myrtle Photos. So come and say hi. But in the meantime, have you got a cup of tea? I have. And have you got your knitting? Get settled. Should we have a show? Right, what have I been doing? The month seems to have slipped by and I feel like I've got nothing big to show you. I was quite hoping that I'd have something sort of bigger to finished. Then I might be able to wear something new, but I haven't. I don't know what I've been doing. I do know what I've been doing. I'll show you in a minute. But nothing huge. Anyway, I'll show you what I have been doing. I've got some knitting. This is the thing that I was hoping I might finish and be able to show you. I'm not quite there yet. It's a sweater. I've been knitting it for a while. I think I showed you last time. It's my In Stillness sweater by Alicia Plummer. And I've done one sleeve and I've almost done the other sleeve. I think, I've done the body obviously. I think I've only got, look, I'm almost up to the ribbing on the second sleeve, almost up to the ribbing. I'm pretty much there, and then I have to rib the end and then I'm done. Do the neckband, weave in my ends, and I'm ready to wear. I'm hoping I'll wear it next week. I'm quite enjoying it. The wool's fabulous. It's nothing special. I got it undyed from a place called Skeins, S-K-E-I-N-Z. It's a naked skeins, skein, quite a few of them, of just wool. Plain old wool. And I dyed them in something which I'm calling my neutral mashup, which was a bit of an experiment, but it's lots of neutral colours just dipped over one another really lightly so that I don't go too crazy with dark colour for any one. And I just re-dipped into lots of different neutrals, just adjusted them slightly as I went. So yeah, I'm quite pleased, but it's not finished. I'm making good progress and I'm nearly there, so it won't be too long. But that's my kind of evening knitting and take along to swimming lessons knitting, and it sort of gets plodded along as I go. I did put one down. I remember I finished the cardigan I was doing for my youngest daughter, and then I picked up, I kept working on a pink cardigan, which is Georgie Hallam's Granny's favourite. When I last recorded, I think I was going to finish the body, or at least finish knitting on the body and move to the sleeve so I could make the most of the yarn I've got that doesn't have blue blobs all through it. And I've done a bit. I must have done a fair whack of a sleeve, do you think? She's 8. I think so. And then I'll pick up the other one and do the body. I love how this smells of sheep, this wool. It's a Polworth. And I also got a naked skein or two to dye this one too. So we had fun doing that. I will get to it. I'm going to finish mine first and then I'll go back to this one. And then I've got another one to start for me. And my other daughter's cardigan is just sitting lonely, hasn't been touched. So I really have got to do that for her. The thing I'm finding though at the moment is I've got lots of designs I want to be working on. So I'm feeling like I need to clear my needles of everything else so I can actually do some knitting. So that's my aim, to clear everything else and then just spend a bit of time just knitting my stuff, just to get some stuff done, because quite a lot of things are in the works, but I'm sort of having trouble getting them on the needles. But I have had something on the needles, which I'll show you. The thing I really did end up doing for most of the month is my new shawl design. Put my cup of tea down. I'm really pleased with it. It's turned out really well. So I've done another shawl. There we are. You can see it quite well in the light, with the light shining behind it. It's a long, slender crescent shawl. It's not so slender. It's got reasonable depth to it, but it makes the most of one skein of fingering. My stash, probably yours too, is full of single skeins of fingering. I go to wool fairs or I see things online and I just think, oh, I'll just buy one. That looks pretty, I'll buy one. And then I've got lots of single ones I'm not quite sure what to do with. So I'm going to design a whole range of shawls that make the most of a single skein. This is a semi-variegated merino nylon stellina blend, which was dyed by Jo at Mirakai Studios here in New Zealand, and I bought it from her at Fibrefest last year. I think I told you in the podcast last time that I was aiming to wear it to the Fibrefest, and it's in 2 weeks' time. It's not this Saturday, but the following Saturday. It's actually called Woolfest, and I'm going to wear it to Woolfest because it's done. So I wear my shawls like this around my, look, I've tied it onto my earring now. That's not so clever, is it? Got my handmade earrings on today. I wear my shawls around my neck like so. Try and have my little bits out the side. And yeah, then they keep me warm, but they also look pretty. So what can I tell you about it? It's called the Mindful Shawl. It's coming out next week. It is a range of lace. You start with a simple chevron lace, you move into a diamond lace, and then you finish with some easy lace at the bottom and a lovely deep piqué edging. Now the reason I've called it the Mindful Shawl is because it's the kind of knitting which you need to curl up. You probably want to take yourself away and curl up and just concentrate on it. Just be in the moment and think about what you're doing, because on lots of the rows there's lace, lots of rows, most rows. You have a few rows off at the top there where we've got the stockinette, but as we move into the diamond pattern, that's lace every row, so you need to be on the ball. I love it. I find it really satisfying to knit like that. I do like relaxing knitting, but the thrill of actually just concentrating and doing it's really satisfying. It's really satisfying. Once you've done that lace section, then I give you a treat, and you can have some nice easy nice easy lace at the end. So it's lace every second row on the bottom, and it's quite simple pattern. You just remember it in no time. And then the piqué edging is something fun and something new. Now for the shawl, I've got a bunch of stitches that might be new to you. I've got an SSP, which is doing an SSK on the back of your work, on the purl side. So it gives you a nice left-leaning decrease. And I've also got an SL2PP. Get it right. SL2PP. So that is the same as a double decrease that you do on the front, but it's on the back. It's actually not the same stitch in reverse. It's a slightly different stitch. But I have made tutorials for you, and I've put them on my blog this week, so you can go and have a look at some of these tutorials that just talk you through how to do some basic and then the kind of not so basic version of the stitches, so the back of the stitches. See what you think. I'm going to link to them in the pattern so that you'll have help every step of the way. But there we are, the Mindful Shawl. It'll be coming out next week on Monday. I'm really pleased. I am really pleased with it. It's really pretty. It's just a nice, drapey, lacy thing to finish off your wardrobe. So yeah, I'm pleased. So that's what I was working on most of the month, I think. Finishing knitting that and then getting it all ready, sending it off to the testers and the editor, and then finalising it so it's almost ready to roll. I have done some sewing, so that was quite good. I finished my t-shirts finally. I got a new double twin needle so I could finish my t-shirts, and I did that, and I've been very disciplined, and I haven't let myself start anything new until they were done. But as soon as they were done, I cut out my crazy trousers. I did it in this crazy fabric. As I was doing it, I did think, do I look like I'm out of a circus? Will I look crazy in these trousers? They're quite bright, they're quite different. I was wondering if it should be a sweatshirt, but they are fun. I've made them fairly tight. I've used the clover pattern, and given the stretch in it, I left the zip out of the side. I just did it straight up, so it's really easy. They just pull on. They are, however, one-day wonder trousers, and that I have to wash them after a day, because I start getting a bit pouchy in the bottom and pouchy in the knees. So yes, they will need to go into the washing machine. I have worn them. Nobody said, oh, I love your trousers. Nobody actually said anything about my trousers, except my daughter, who thought they were fantastic. In real life, nobody said anything, but they all looked at my trousers, so I'm hoping they're all right. I'm going to wear them anyway, because they're quite fun. I wore them. Look, I've got brown paint on it. I went to my daughter's school to help, so I hope that comes out. Got it on my knee. Anyway, they're done, and they're fun, and they're comfy, and yeah, something new for my wardrobe. I also made something for my daughter's wardrobe. I made her two things. I made her two nighties. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen that I whipped them up. Nothing's whipping, really. Takes a wee while. I had an absolute nightmare getting my overlocker threaded. I did the trick of tying the knot of the white thread onto the black thread and pulling it through. Somehow I completely stuffed it up and I had to just start again and rethread the whole thing. So that took a while. But anyway, once we got going, the first one we did was a white with pink polka dot nightie. We just used an old raglan t-shirt that she's got, lay it down and on a bit of freezer paper, we measured out the shape of the front and then the shape of the sleeves. It's very similar shapes. Gave a little bit extra width to the sleeves because it's a nightie, a little bit of extra length under the arm because it's a nightie, and then fiddled around with the neck till we got a reasonable scoop. That's quite tricky, getting the neck right. I cut one off and had to do it again because it was too baggy, but we got there in the end, I think. So in future, I think I'll try and make it go a little higher and then we can cut it down as we need to, or maybe scooch it in. I have to have a think about it, but it's fine now. But yeah, it's a little bit trickier to get that neck fitting right. I'm going to make her a raglan top, I think. We're having trouble finding clothes that work for her. So she's quite a tall 11-year-old. And we don't really want to jazz her up too much into women's clothes, but she doesn't fit lots of the kids' clothes. And yeah, it's been a bit awkward. So we're going to make her some more things, we thought. So here's the nightie I did. This is the second one. We love this one. It's cute. I had some stretch knit in my stash, so we've joined it together and she's really pleased with it. It's reasonably long, but if you want to see a picture of it in the whole thing, go and have a look on my Instagram or Facebook pages because I've put pictures up there showing it off. So yeah, that's some sewing I've done. I'm getting there, aren't I? I've done something really interesting this month. This has been fun. Then do you remember a friend of mine, I don't know if I've told you, a friend of mine gave me a fleece. She and her husband have quite a few animals for meat, and they have sheep for meat. So that one of them needed shearing, and her husband did it. And they surprised me one day at the door with a bag of Suffolk fleece. Now, I looked in my book about Suffolk. This is what a Suffolk sheep looks like. It has a black face and a white body, white wool. It's a good meat sheep, but it's also a good fleece sheep, a reasonable fleece sheet. So it's a down breed, it says here. It says it's a medium handling wool that's nice and versatile. When I'm spinning it, I have to keep my drafting light and my twist moderate to preserve the loft and spring. So it's presumably fairly lofty and springy. And I've got to card shorter fleeces and flick or comb the longer ones. Now we're talking about words I don't understand. This is what I have to figure out. It makes finer fleeces. I'm not sure if this is a particularly fine fleece, but it says finer fleeces are soft yet durable. It makes great socks, mittens, hats, and everyday sweaters. So there we go. I've got some. I'm going to show you what I've done with it. So I got it, when I got it in a great big rubbish sack, it was very dirty. So I set about trying to wash it, and I haven't done this before, and I was a bit nervous. So I put the call out onto the internet and asked people to give me a hand, and quite a lot of people did. And I've tried 3 different methods of cleaning it. One of them was just the standard method of cleaning it. Still smells a bit of sheep, where I just washed it fairly quickly in some hot water with wool wash. Lifted it out. I actually did it in these bags. I bought a couple of these bags, so it was all held together. And then I pulled it out, and then I rinsed it, and then I threw it in the washing machine. I have a, one of those washing machines that goes around and around, front loader, and I put it on a spin cycle and spun it, not too fast, and then laid it out to dry on a towel in the bag. And that's come up quite well, actually. It's reasonably clean. It's nice and pale, and it's still got quite a lot of spring in it, and I don't think it's matted. It looks kind of matted in my bag, but I don't think it's felted at all. So now I need to card it. So there's that one. The next one I did, now I got some advice from a woman online, which I'll link to in the show notes, and I'm not sure how to say the name properly, Moeke Yarns from Romania. Anyway, that was really helpful. She suggested that I just soak the wool in water. that's not it. It's the other one. It's got a slight whiff to it, but not too bad anymore. It's actually pretty good. So all I had to do, that's it. She had to, she says that she has much, much dirtier fleeces. See, this one was reasonably dirty. It's still got a bit of gunk in it. But what she does is they just soak their fleeces for 2 or 3 days in rainwater. Now, at the time, it wasn't raining, so I used water from our tap, which actually comes straight out of the ground. We have a bore, so it's got no chemicals in it, and I soaked it in that. And I probably soaked it for 3 days, I think, 2-3 days, probably about that. And then I lifted it out, and oh my goodness, the smell was unbelievable. It was disgusting. It absolutely reeked. It was awful. But she said it would smell, and I gave it, what did I do? I took it out and I put it in the sink and I just refilled the bucket and we just soaked it again for another day in another bucket of water. But, and the smell was still pretty bad even after that, but I could see that it was getting better. It looked cleaner. Now what she said was that the lanolin and the potassium in the sunt, S-U-I-N-T, I think that's the word. It could be a Romanian word. I don't know. But anyway, it's like the sweat of the animal. The lanolin and the potassium actually serve as a natural soap, so it cleans itself, which I thought was pretty cool. And knowing that wool is fairly self-cleaning, I used to use real nappies on my kids, and we had quite a lot of wool covers, and they really were great. That they didn't smell. You'd hang them out, and they'd sort of reabsorb smell or waft off smell or something. They were fantastic. So that's kind of made sense to me that it would work. But anyway, I ended up with this reasonably clean fleece that I then, I guess, I'll just pick, pull, flick the slightly crappy ends at the end off. And I spun it. Yeah, I spun it. And then I laid it out to dry. And actually, the smell's gone. It's actually quite a pleasant smell now. It's sort of a neutral wool smell. It doesn't have a high lanolin smell at all. It's just a nice, yeah, just a neutral smell. So I lay it in the sun a wee bit too, so I think that helped. So I like that method. I mean, it's a lot slower than the other method, but I liked that it didn't have any product in it, and the wool works for itself. I quite like that idea. So that was the second one I tried. Now the third one I tried was this one, and to be honest, the look is actually more or less the same as the others. I think the look is actually more or less the same for all of them. I don't think any one was better than another necessarily. I think some of the first lot of fleece might have been slightly cleaner to start with, but really I think the result has been similar. So this one, I filled up a very hot bucket of water, and then put in quite a lot of Lux Flakes to make a real slick. And then I soaked the fibre in it, in a bag, for a couple of hours, quite a while. And then I lifted it out, and then I repeated it with a less soapy solution. And then I think I rinsed it after that in a no soap solution. And then was in the bag. So then I took it out to my washing line. I just tried to handle it as little as possible. Took it out to my washing line and just hung it on my washing line like that, and it just drained out the bottom. And the idea is that you don't touch it and it just dries. Now mine didn't quite dry, it was a bit damp in the air, so in the end, once it was almost dry, I brought it in, I laid it on a towel on the floor in the sun, and yeah, it's fine, it's good. So that was really interesting, trying the 3 different methods. I think I'm going to try the water method again, because even though it takes longer, it was actually less labour intensive. It used less product. I just quite liked that one. Yeah, we'll see. Now the next job for me is to card it. I don't have any carders. I have no idea what I'm doing when I'm carding, because all the fibre I've bought previously has been prepared for me. So I bought braids and Rolex, and I haven't actually carded any myself. So when I go to the Fibre Fest next weekend, the 23rd, I think it is, I'm going to go and talk to some of my creative fibre friends and get them to give me some tips about carding. And I'm wondering if I might be able to borrow some carders before I buy them. I'm not sure about, they're quite a lot of money, and I'm not sure about investing in them just yet, although I have quite a lot to do, so I might. But yeah, I'm quite keen to talk to them about the best way to tackle this because, yeah, it's pretty exciting. I've got quite a lot to put on the wheel, haven't I? Need to get what I'm doing finished. Actually, as the weather cools down, I'm feeling more like spinning. I think, for me, spinning might be a winter activity. Do you find that? Or is yours do you have a season that you attach to spinning? I didn't think I did, but I'm more and more keen just to spin as it gets cooler. I'm not sure what that's about. I mean, I love knitting. I'll always love knitting. But yeah, I'm just itching to spin. So maybe it's because I haven't done it for a while. I don't know. Just little bits and pieces I've been doing lately, but not a big lot. But anyway, I have some more things to spin. That's not the end of it, let me tell you. The weekend before, was the New Zealand National Alpaca Open Day, and all the alpaca farms around the country flung open their gates and invited everyone in, which was fantastic. So we have alpacas around us because we're in the country, and around the corner, less than 5 minutes from us, there is a huge alpaca farm. Well, a big alpaca farm. I didn't know it was there. It was in the paper. So we whipped over, took the kids, and it was fascinating. I loved it. They've got 120 alpaca, thereabouts, all different colours, and it seems all different standards, although they're breeding them, so they're trying to produce, really good fibre. And I talked to them for quite a long time about how they did that. It's really technical. It's a bit, as well. They do lots of harvesting eggs and then artificial, fertilisation, and then putting them into surrogate mothers. I don't know, all the kind of romance about beautiful herds sort of goes out the window, doesn't it, when you start hearing stuff like that? But anyway, that's what they do. They were beautiful animals. So they said to me, most of their fibre goes for duvets. They have some really luxury stuff at the top, which I think is scooped up by someone that manufactures clothing, but there isn't a lot of it. And then the rest of it is for duvets. And I suppose I knew about alpaca duvets. I must have heard of them, but we have wool duvets in our house for the most part. Most of us have wool duvets. And so alpaca duvets is apparently a big thing. I don't know what the benefits would be over a wool duvet. Maybe they're just slightly warmer. Maybe they're not. I don't know. But anyway, when I mentioned I was a spinner, they gave me a whole sack of fibre. They raced out the back and said, oh, they've got some just lying around. Now, this is actually some of their duvet fibre. And it doesn't smell. Hasn't been washed. It is so soft. I can't tell you. It is so soft. It's like clouds. It's amazing. So they gave me a whole sack of this stuff. It is amazing. And it is pretty clean, really, on the whole. Look at that. Just pretty clean. But actually the other side's got a little bit more brown on it. It's not bad. And it's so soft and so lovely. So they actually said to me that they thought that the luxury stuff would be too hard to spin. So they've given me this. And if I want more, I just have to pop over in November when they're doing shearing. I'm not sure if I'll get through this much. This might take me a couple of years. Who knows at the rate I go. Look, it's enormous big sack. So I have to wash that. I'm going to try that water method again when I wash that. Now let me tell you a little bit about alpacas. I found this in my book too. I'm using this big book. Fleece and Fibre Source book. It's actually fantastic. I love it. I don't use it as much as I should, but I do use it. So, alpaca fibre. Alpaca is slipperier than wool. Yes, we know that. And it will need a bit more twist than a comparable wool yarn, but be careful not to put in so much twist that you make the yarn stiff and wiry. Use carders with fairly fine teeth, possibly cotton carders. Haven't heard of those before, which have both fine and closely spaced teeth. You'll most likely card huakea, although longer fleeces may be flicked or combed. Oh, I don't know what this is. It's not suri, I know that. What else do they say? In theory, oh, that's about suri. Pick the locks open and spin them. Oh, that's about suri as well. Knitting. We know about knitting. Make sure you've got the right gauge. has some of the fleeces may have some elasticity. Oh, I think there's only 2. So I must have Hukaya. It's best known for delightfully smooth, supple feel and the wider range of natural colours. It's a strong fibre and durability is extremely high in the coarser varieties. It's not elastic. It doesn't bounce back into shape as many, but it's certainly not all wools do. So it's not very elastic. I have to it's careful when I'm spinning it. It's a bit slippery. I'm going to experiment. I am going to spin some of it with my Suffolk and just see what happens, and then some of it on its own, and then likewise I'll spin some Suffolk on its own. So that's fun, isn't it? That's really fun. I'm so looking forward to that. So I need to finish washing and then get everything prepared, or some prepared. I might prepare and spin, because otherwise I'll be here for years, I think, trying to do all this. But if you have any tips for me about carding, preparation, spinning, just let me have them. That would be wonderful, because yeah, I'm just experimenting here and I'm looking forward to it, but yeah, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just going to have some fun and see what happens. So that was my spinning, my acquisitions of fibre, my sort of work that I've been doing a bit with fibre. Now I have made a few purchases. I think that's all the things I've made. I've showed you sewing, knitting, shawl, fibre. Yeah, I'm coming to an end. Right, so I made some acquisitions. I'm trying really hard to be careful about how much money I'm spending, but it's really hard, and so a few little purchases will be okay, I figure. We're trying to save some money, but I'm not doing very well. I'm trying. Anyway, first of all, I bought some new needles. I have been wanting to try these needles for a while now, because as I'm knitting more lace, I'm wanting pointier and pointier needles. My Knit Pros are fine, but they're much blunter. So the long tapered end and the stainless steel, I never would have thought that I would like a stainless steel needle. I've always been a wood person, but actually I'm loving the stainless steel. I've had some hires recently, and I really love those. I've tried Addies, not so keen on those. They're all right, but these are Chiagoos. And my friend Helene at Happy Go Knitty, who's a dyer here in New Zealand, has been bringing them into the country. She's just started, so I thought, oh, I have to try them, because I've been wanting to try them for ages. So I've ordered 3 tips off her and 2 cables. So the tips are lovely. The join is absolutely fantastic. It's the opposite join to my Knit Pros. In my Knit Pros, the join sticks out of the... my Knit Pros, the join sticks out of the cable. But with these, the join sticks out of the needle. I think that's right. I just remember thinking they were the opposite. And I wonder if that helps make such a smooth join. It really is nice. There'll be no catching. Not that I've had lots of problems with my Knit Pros, because I haven't. Just every now and then. But this is just really nice. Anyway, they're lovely to work with. I love it that the number is stamped on the side, because with wood ones that I have, they just wear off, and then I'm left with my needle gauge trying to work out all the time which size they are. But the size is printed on the side. These are actually 4s. I think I've got 3.5s, 3.75s and 4s. I thought that was a good range to do some knitting on shawls and things. But the thing I love about them is the cable. It's a luxury cable. It has no memory at all, so you can scrunch it up, she says, and then it does. No, it doesn't. It has no memory, and it goes right back into shape. My Addies, that's my complaint I had about my Addies, is that the cables are really kinky. I haven't found that with my hires. They've been fine, but my Addies weren't great. But these are amazing, and they're textured. They have this sort of, they just feel substantial. They've got this textured feel to them. I really like them. Really like them. So I'm pleased with that purchase. It's really inspiring me to knit all the things on my needles, which is a good thing, isn't it? It's a really good thing. Now the other thing I bought was some yarn. So I was alerted to Nanaba Artisan Yarns on Facebook. Jenna dyes the most beautiful colours of yarn. Beautiful. They're fresh, clear, romantic. Oh, they're beautiful colours. I'm loving them. So what she does is she does a whole lot of little tests, sort of single skein. I guess she works out all the colours and then prepares samples of everything, puts them together in a big lot and a stocking, and then says who wants it, who wants some of this, and she takes orders, and I think she does 100 skeins at a go, so fairly small orders. Well, it's big for one person, isn't it? But when you're in a hurry, they go fast. They actually go fast, like within hours, 24 hours max, they're gone, all of them gone. But anyway, so she takes orders on Ravelry, on her Ravelry page. So Nanaba, you can find her on Ravelry and on Facebook, so go and have a look. But the colours are beautiful, but also the wool that she's dyed on is beautiful. It's white gum wool. Now, you remember I talked about Nan Bray. Have I told you about her before? You must have heard of her. She's a shepherdess in Australia with merino sheep who's breaking all the rules. And she's doing things like not docking the lamb's tails. She's keeping the mothers with the babies. She actually is a walking shepherdess. She walks with them all day long. She directs them to weeds. She says that grass is the last thing that her sheep want to eat. They want to eat natural weeds and other things. So she plants for that, and then they eat those. She uses very few chemicals. I think she still uses some. She doesn't really vaccinate much, and I don't think she drenches. She might. That might be the thing she still does a little bit of. I've forgotten. But very, very little intervention. And as a result, she's producing some of the finest, I think the finest merino in the world. 16 microns, something like that. So, so fine. A lot of it, until now, has been going to make Zegna suits. And if you've heard of Zegna, my husband likes Zegna. They make the most beautiful men's Italian suits, very fine, very soft, very stylish suits. But then recently she started making knitting wool as well. So she provides quite a bit to dyes. I know she does some in her own colours, but this is a fingering weight. She does a fingering and a DK and I think a boucle, and it could be it. There might be another, maybe an Aran, not sure. Anyway, this is fingering. It is luxuriously soft. It's soft like cloud soft. It's so soft. I want you to touch it. It's like marshmallow soft. Beautiful, beautiful wool. So Jenna uses that as her base, and she does gradients, and she does semi-solids. Now my heart has always been stolen by semi-solids. I adore semi-solids. I cannot get enough semi-solids. Kettle dyed, hand dyed semi-solids. I just love them. Love them. But I'm curious about these gradients because they're super pretty. I haven't actually finished knitting any gradients up yet, but now I have 4 gradients ready to go. But I thought that would be fun. I'm thinking it might be quite fun to do a big wrap or shawl using both. I thought that would be quite nice. So I ordered these ones off her. This was from her last stocking, no, the one before, and it's called Nest, this particular colourway. Nest in the gradient, Nest in the yarn. Isn't it beautiful? But wait, there's more. Jenna is so kind. She sent me, for you, one more gradient to give away on the podcast. So this is called Feather, and it is a dark lavender. It really has lavender hue. It's a dark purple hinted lavender around the outside, and then it fades to a really pretty lavender, pinky lavender, and right into the cream. Oh, it's so nice, isn't it? It's really pretty. So there is 100 grams of that, 472 metres. So it's quite a fine fingering, isn't it, to have so much meterage. Normally you get about 400 metres. So that's interesting. Be interesting to see how it knits up. In Feather on white gum wool. So there we are. That's my giveaway for this week. Aren't we lucky? So what I want you to do, if you would like to win this sumptuous skein of yarn, dyed by Jenna from Nanaba Yarns on the beautiful white gum wool, you need to leave me a comment. Now you can leave me a comment either on my blog where I've posted this podcast, or on the YouTube channel that I've got, and I'll go through and I'll find all your comments. Just one each, please, and tell me what is your favourite style of dyeing. What is your favourite style? Mine, my heart is stolen by a semi-solid, I think. But the gradients are interesting, aren't they? And then we have the lightly variegated wools, like in my shawl. Lightly variegated. Then we have crazy variegated, which some people love. Then we have, this is pretty crazy variegated, isn't it? But actually it's all neutral, so it ties in together. So that one I quite like. And I guess there are hand-painted yarns. What else is there? Am I missing one? There must be others. Solids, of course, solid yarns. Anyway, tell me what's your favourite. Which is your favourite method of dye, of colour being applied to yarn? What's your favourite? And you can go in the draw to win, and I will, it's the wrong one, it's this one. I will draw a name out of the hat and then let you know next time on the podcast who's won, and I'll post it to you. And you can be anywhere, I don't care, be on the other side of the world. It's nice to be involved in these things, isn't it? So, yeah, lovely, isn't it? Now, I think that's all I've got to tell you this week. I think with this month, I think that might be it. I've got my newsletter coming out next week, so if you haven't signed up to the Trudy Myrtle mini mag, go and do that now. You can sign up on my blog on the sidebar, pop your name in. I've written it, I just have to go through and tweak it now. I really enjoy writing them, they're really fun. At the moment I'm working on a handmade theme. So a lot of people are interested in making a handmade wardrobe, and I myself are particularly passionate about it. All my designs are designed to be things that you can wear with your handmade wardrobe, make for your handmade wardrobe. So I thought it would be quite nice to explore the whole topic of handmade wardrobes, and at the moment we're weaving our way through a range of issues and topics and interesting bits that come up when you're making your own clothes. So if that sounds like something you would enjoy, go over to my blog, trudymyrtle.com, and sign up on the sidebar. There's a little place saying subscribe to my newsletter. You just pop your email address in and you will get that next Wednesday, my time, New Zealand time. So get in quickly if you want that. What else have I got to tell you? I've got Woolfest coming up. If you're in New Zealand, around Auckland, travelling to Auckland, next weekend, next Saturday, not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, 23rd, come along to the Corbins Estate Centre in Henderson. You will see me. I will be there. I'm going to try and be there most of the day. I'm going to be helping, which I'm really looking forward to. I'm going to be helping either meeting people and greeting people on the door or helping people with their knitting queries. So come along, please say hi and introduce yourselves. I just look like this, so I'll be there, and I'll be wearing my shawl, so look out for that. And that'd be lovely to see you. I've got my new shawl pattern coming out on Monday, the Mindful shawl, so keep your eyes peeled for that. I think that's it. I think that's all I've got to tell you. Enter the draw and have a lovely month. Happy knitting.
2, 3, 4. Is it a scarf or is it half of a sweater? From what I've heard, it could be a third of a poncho. There's no excuse now not to be knitting, 'cause you can do it standing and you can do it sitting. Is it a hat or is it the start of a blanket? Maybe a ball or even a shawl for a baby. There's no excuse now not to be knitting, 'cause you can do it standing and you can do it sitting. Take out your needles, we're casting on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I got official love, you can do it, Mary. You can do it, John. Is it a gnome or some other homely creation? Wait and see, it might even be for a teapot.